Hi, welcome to the Run Testers. This is our guide to the best running headphones available right now. Now, normally for these guys, we kind of all get together and we chat on camera, but given the coronavirus situation, we obviously can't do that right now. However, we have been discussing this at length behind the scenes and arguing about what the best headphones are. So we're confident that we've put together a selection of what really is the best stuff available right now, no matter what kind of runner you are or what kind of budget you have. We've tested headphones from all the major brands in the past kind of few years, Jaybird, Jabra, Apple Beats, Sennheiser, Aftershocks, and also from some smaller brands as well, like JBL and Mifo. So we've got a really good idea of what's on the market and what the best options really are. In this list, we focused on truly wireless and wireless headphones, the ones that have the wire between the buds. Now, we've all moved on from wired headphones, and there are such good wireless options now available at any price point, really, that we think every runner should. It's much more comfortable to run without a kind of wire running to your MP3 player, even if that does mean you have to charge headphones occasionally. Obviously, all our picks are really running focused, but for a lot more detail about what we look for in a pair of headphones, here's Kieran.
Thanks, Nick. So really quickly, here's what we look for in a really good set of running headphones. It's what we test for, and it's also what you guys could use to have as your go-to kind of shopping list of criteria when you're looking to buy a buyer's guide, essentially. So first up, fit. Do they sit nicely in the ears? Are they comfortable? Will they stay put? Crucial. And that means, running uphills, downhills, fast, slow, short runs, long runs. They need to stay put, they need to be comfortable, and they need to be able to cope with any kind of running that you do. That's really the first crucial thing. If they fall out, they're no good. Then we've got battery life. Some of the buds, if you're going true wireless, will go from 4.5 hours right up to maybe even 15. The carry cases add extra. These can range from adding another 10 hours on top up to 100 hours. So how good is the battery life? How reliable is the battery life? Do they have rapid charge? So can you get an hour's worth of juice out of a 5-minute charge? That's another really handy thing from a runner's perspective. Then there's how the sound is. We're not audiophiles, so we're not looking for that really top superior sound. We want good, rich sound that's got a bit of kick-ass for you when you're on the run. You need a bit of motivation, decent loudness, good bass, good balance, not too tinny. Those kind of things come into play with sound. Durability. What's their sweat rating? What's their waterproof rating? How durable will they be if they fall out in your bag? And how will they cope with that? So we also look at connectivity. So that means two things. How they pair and connect each time you want to go and run with your phone. The other is actually how the buds connect to each other and whether you have any kind of loss when you're running. Some of the older true wireless buds had a habit of dropping out sometimes when you were running, and we look for something like, so we want good reliable connectivity, easy to pair, easy to get going, instant connection, out the box, ready to run, no loss. So we also think about portability, and that doesn't just mean kind of carting it around in your normal daily life, but particularly if you've got a charging case that can add extra hours and you're an ultra runner, you really want to be able to take that with you. If your buds last 5 hours and there's an extra 15, 20, whatever in the case, you want to be able to use that. So having a case that's nice and slimline, can go in a belt, can go in a pocket, can actually go into a backpack or something without taking up too much weight, too much bulk, too much heft. That's a really useful thing to have, so we look at that as well. Not to be overlooked is ease of use. When you pop these things in your ears, how easy are the buttons to control? Do you have to remember a lot of complicated combinations of taps and presses? Can you customize the controls for things that you like? If there are just a few functions that you really want to highlight, can you customize those in the app to have the things that you want most at your fingertips? When you're controlling them on the move as well, how easy are they to reach the buttons and press them? Do they dig in your ears? Do they sort of juggle them loose? All of those things we take into account as well with ease of use. So finally, we'll also think about the other clever, neat little tricks that these do. Are there things like Find My Buds that let you locate the last place that you had your buds by using your phone, just in case you've misplaced them? Do they have auto power down when you put them in the case? Or do they have motion sensors that when you put them on the table, you put your buds away, that also recognizes to power down? Can you tweak the EQ in your app so you can get custom sound? Do they clip together with magnets and auto power down, saving you juice when they're clipped around your neck? All of these kind of other bits and pieces that are thrown in that make nice little features that kind of skill up your headphones are really things that we'll also look for. And if they've got a few of those, they'll get an extra tick in the box. But that, ladies and gentlemen, is everything that we'll look for when we're testing these. And without further ado, let's get into the meat of this and look at the headphones that we've judged by that criteria and pick the best in each category. Here we go, let's take a look. So the first of our top picks for best running headphones are these. They are the Jaybird Tara Pro. Now these guys have been around for a while. They're not brand new, but they are really, really good. They are super versatile. They are Bluetooth, but they do have a wire that connects to buds. So first up, let's talk about battery life. You get 14 hours of runtime on these from a single charge. That is not as long as you'll get from some True Wireless plus charging case combos. There isn't a charging case with these, which is a bit of a shame. It would be nice to be able to extend that battery life. But 14 hours, that's enough for a month's worth of 5Ks, depending on how fast you do them. And that'll cover you, for a lot of people, that'll cover you 100-kilometer ultra. So these guys definitely take you into ultra territory. A 5-minute fast charge on the plug will give you 2 hours of runtime, and that is up there with any of the True Wireless buds or buds that you can get right now, which is stand out in terms of that last minute need if you forget to charge them. When it comes to battery life as well, there's a couple of other really clever tricks that these guys do. If you clip the buds together like that, basically that powers them down automatically. Unclip them and your music starts playing again without you having to touch anything. That's really neat for power saving if you want to drop them around your neck when you're running and then save a bit of juice. They also have motion sensors, so you leave them on the table. After a while of not being in use, they will power off. So there's auto power down, and that saves you battery life too. When it comes to durability, these guys are IPX7 rated, so they are waterproof and sweat proof. They're really robust. The wingtips are one piece, which is great, so you don't lose bits. They've got a kind of reinforced fabric cord, which actually makes them even more robust. The controls are nice and solid. And yeah, from a durability standpoint, I've been using these for well over 18 months now, I think, and there's no problem with these at all. When it comes to that all-important fit, you get 3 different types of wingtips and gels, these one-piece wingtips and gels in the box, small, medium and large, which should fit most ears. I find the fit really, really comfortable. These hooks basically keep them Loctite in the ears. There's no movement, there's no fear of them falling out that you might have with some True Wireless buds. And they sit nice and snug with a good seal with this gel in the ear without being uncomfortable. It's actually, the gel here is actually quite soft silicone, so they don't dig over a long period of time. And that's a deliberate move by Jaybird there to make these useful for ultra and for longer distance runs. If you're going to be running for 8 hours and using them for that long, you don't want that to start sort of digging in your ear. That really works. The other really important thing about these is that they twist. So the buds actually twist round. I don't know if you can see that there. And that means you can wear them 2 ways. So you can wear them under ear, so they hang down and go round the neck and then up. Or you can twist the bud and you can pop them over ear and pop them in like that. Now, when you put them that way, with the cinch cable, which tightens them at the back, this essentially feels like it's True Wireless. You honestly do not feel that cord at all. There is no flapping like you might get with some of these kind of wired Bluetooth headphones, but there's none of that, and that is a really important thing. You can wear these like True Wireless. You've also got these inline controls, which I think makes it a little bit easier. You don't have to play around with your ears whilst you're running. You can control it from here, which is also grand. So fit, I think, is a really, really nice thing about these. They feel comfortable, they fit well, and that touch where you can wear them over or under is a really, really neat trick. When it comes to sound, the Tara Pros are spot on. Deep, rich, good quality, customizable EQ that you can play within the app to suit your moods and your needs. So if you like more bass, you can up the bass. If you like higher treble, you can play with the treble. You can also do a hearing test, which helps customize the sound to your personal preferences. They've got 6mm drivers, so they're really, really solid. And you just get good, strong, kick-ass sound that you need on the move when you're running. No complaints there at all. So another really cool feature that I wanted to highlight really quickly was Find My Buds. You get it with the Jaybird Vista. You also have it with the Jabra Elite 75T. I actually used it with these Jaybird Tara Pros after the Barcelona Marathon last year, where I dropped my buds and I lost them on the ground. We walked away about 500 meters and it was before I realized. When I realized, I fired up my phone, looked at where I last dropped them, and it took me right back to where they were on the floor. £139 worth of headphones that I thought I'd lost, I found. And that leads me on to the last bit, which is these UK price $139.99. In the US, they are $159.99. And that is a really, really competitive price up against some of the other True Wireless, which go from the 170s right up to the £250. So they're not budget. We'll look at the budget ones later, but they are well priced for something of such high quality. And that is why the Jaybird Tara Pro are up there as one of our top picks of the best headphones you can buy right now.
So our second pick for the best all-round running headphones are the Beats Powerbeats, which are also known as the Powerbeats 4 or the Powerbeats 2020. Up until recently, the Tara Pro I think would be my personal choice as well for the best running headphones, but then I tried these and I think there's kind of three reasons why they might just have the edge. First is that they're slightly cheaper, which is always a good thing. They have 1 hour more battery life, that's always great as well. And the earhook design does just mean you're getting the most secure possible fit for your runs. I mean, the Tara Pro, and there are other in-ear headphones as well that have a really great fit that doesn't really go anywhere when you're running, but if you want absolute peace of mind, especially on kind of hot, sweaty runs, or when you're on the treadmill when in-ear headphones might slip a little, an earhook is the way to go. Obviously, there's the wire between the buds, and sometimes that will annoy runners. Tom actually struggled with this wire, said it was a bit annoying, but I didn't feel it at all during my runs. These felt exactly like I was wearing the Powerbeats Pro truly wireless headphones, and these are £90 cheaper, and they've got a much longer battery life. And they also have exactly the same sound quality as the Powerbeats Pro, and the sound is really good. Like it's not like as aggressively bassy as some of Beats' consumer non-running headphones, but you know it's really good, balanced across the range. It's very loud. Call quality is also quite good. The other day I was on Zwift, running with a friend also on Zwift, and we were chatting over WhatsApp, and I was using these, and you know the sound was coming through really clearly over the sound of the treadmill and everything else. So I just don't think you're going to find anything better than this for less than the £130 that they cost. The battery life's amazing, the fit's amazing, the sound's amazing. I think they're right up there as one of the top picks for the best running headphones available right now. Obviously all of us are runners, and our main thing for a set of headphones is how good they are on the run, but we don't just run, we have to go to the office, we have to travel on planes and trains from time to time, and I think if you want one set of headphones that are amazing for your day-to-day life as well as running, the Apple AirPods Pro are kind of the standout pick. They are crazy expensive, they're £250, and that most of that is down to the fact they have this one killer feature, which is active noise cancellation. You turn that on and really all the sound around you just kind of disappears. It's actually amazingly effective given how small these headphones are. When you're on the underground train or a plane or even just walking along a busy pavement, it really does cut out all the external noise, and to me it's just amazing. Like especially even when you're running as well, like if you want to block out the world and kind of focus in on your run, it's a really great feature. If you want a bit more awareness, which is also sometimes important when running, you can turn on the transparency mode as well, which lets in a bit more external noise, so you know there's a bus coming up behind you, for example. They sound amazing. That's this in-ear fit, which helps obviously make them more immersive. I found the fit was pretty good for running. Like I'd have to adjust it fairly often during a run. They didn't fall out, but I'd have to play with it a little bit. Active noise cancellation is properly amazing. Battery life's fine. 4.5 hours for active noise cancellation is very good. Like you get another 19 hours in this case, which is small and easy to carry around in the pocket. I just think, yeah. Obviously, if I was just going for a run from home, I'd probably take something like the Powerbeats for the earhook. But when I'm traveling to work and then running there, these are the best kind of all-round option for your life and running crossover, even if they are crazy expensive.
So next up, we've got the Best True Wireless, and we have picked two again. I know, sitting on the fence, but we have got two really, really high quality True Wireless headphones. We have got the Jabra Elite 75T. These are not the active ones. These are the slightly cheaper normal 75T. And we have got the Jaybird Vista. Now, we've done full reviews of both of these sets of headphones on the channel already. We'll put a link up. It'll pop up above my head here somewhere so you can have a look at those in great detail. But right now I'm going to whip round why these two come in as the Best True Wireless as quick as I can. So let's start with the Jaybird Vista. The fit on these is, as far as the run test is concerned, is excellent. We've had no trouble with these falling out. A large part of that is down to the fact that you've got these sort of built-in one-piece gels and wingtips. These hooks here keep them firm in your ears, and they have never dropped out for me, and I know the other run testers have had a good time with that. The other thing that we want to talk about here is battery life. You get 6 hours on the buds and you get a further 10 hours in the case, and they will charge from 0 to max in just 2 hours, and you also get an hour's worth of run time on a 5-minute charge. So that's pretty quick. You'll get anytime you want to run, forgotten to charge them, stick them on the charge, and you are good to go. Now, the durability, really solid, no problems at all. You've got IPX7 rated, that's the same as the Jaybird Tara Pro. So when it comes to controls, they're really easy to use on the move. They can be controlled from either bud, so you've got that flexibility and versatility as well. If you also want to put one in back in the case, you've got one in, that is fine. You can control them independently. When it comes to sound, they've got 6mm drivers. That is the same as the Jaybird Tara Pro. The one thing I will say is that these don't seem to have the top level volume that you might get in some other true wireless. So when you really need that kind of big punchy sort of total ear busting sound, they don't quite have it. That might be an issue for some people, but on the whole the sound is good. You can customize the EQ and you can set the levels to what you want, so that's a nice touch as well. So there's no active noise cancellation, there is no transparency or hear-through mode as it can be called sometimes. So if those two things are important to you, then you need to look elsewhere. What you do get is a Find My Buds feature that you get in the Tara Pro as well. So you can locate the last place that you put these should you forget using your phone, and that is a really, really handy feature. Final word, the carry case, nice and slim, nice and compact, really easy to slip into a running belt. It's also got a little tie on it, which is nice. If your running belt has a clip, you can hook these in or in your bag so that they don't get lost, and it makes it far easier to keep control of where your buds are. So when it comes to price, you've got $159.99 in the UK, and that's $179.99 in the US. That is cheaper than the Powerbeats Pro, that is cheaper than the AirPods Pro, and it is cheaper than the Jabra Elite 75T, which I'm going to talk about in a sec. So the second pick in the true wireless category that we've got, we couldn't kind of distinguish between these two, is the Jabra Elite 75T. There is an active version that's a little bit more expensive. If you want the active version, basically it has a little bit extra sweat proofing and durability and a bit more, supposedly a little bit more grip, but actually bang for buck, we found that these were just as good, and it's just, you know, don't spend the extra 20 bucks. So what you get with the Jabra Elite 75T is 7.5 hours on the buds from a single charge. You get a further 20.5 hours in the case, so that busts these. You get more juice overall in the Jabra Elite. The fit, though, is slightly different. There are no tips to hook into your ears, and that makes these, for my money, just a little bit less secure when you're running, but they still do stay put really, really well, and they're solid enough that they'll take most kinds of run. Maybe on a big kind of steep downhill with a lot of impact they might drop out. Controls are relatively simple. The charging case is nice and slimline as well. Again, compare that to the Vista, it's actually a bit narrower. I wish it had a clip, it doesn't. It's magnetic so that the buds don't drop out, and it won't come undone in your bag, just like the Vista. Design and durability, they're not as robust as the Vista. They are IP55 rated, so you are getting dust and water resistance. That's rain and sweat covered, but not to the level that you'll get with the Vista. So that's why we've got two of them in here. When it comes to sound, good, rich, full sound quality that's ample for any run. They do have a customizable sound in the Jabra app as well, which is just like the Jaybird Vista, so they're up there comparable with that. Although you can't save as many sound profiles with these ones as you can with these ones, so there's a slight difference there. These are $169.99 as well when it comes to price, so they are a little bit more expensive, a tenner more expensive in the UK. So there you have it, our top two picks for the best true wireless headphones are the Jaybird Vista and the Jabra Elite 75T. Check those out.
So when it comes to kind of budget running headphones, we've kind of labelled it as the best under £100, and obviously there's a huge range of prices there. Generally, once you get to this point, you're going to lose a bit of battery life, you're going to lose quite a lot of sound quality, and you might lose some kind of build quality as well. But there are some real gems to be found, even kind of under £50. So a couple of headphones in that range you might look at are the JBL Sprint, kind of have an ear hook design with a wire between them. They're wireless as well. They've got 8 hours of battery life, and they only cost around £30 to £35. They're very good solid headphones. The same can be said of the MPAL T6 truly wireless headphones. These are ones that kind of appear on Amazon. They look almost, you know, worryingly cheap. They're like £35 for a set of headphones that are truly wireless, and they kind of claim to have, you know, up to 5 hours of battery in each bud. They're kind of pretty good. You know, they don't sound brilliant. They don't necessarily have as rugged a build quality as some of the headphones you'll find for more expensive prices, but you know, they're perfectly good for the price. Between £50 and £100 are a lot kind of better options in my opinion, in our opinion in general, in fact. The Jaybird Tara kind of basic version's there. It's only got around 6 hours of battery life for £70, which isn't amazing, but it's got quite a reliable fit. The sound quality is very good for budget headphones. There's also the Mifo 05 truly wireless headphones. Now, their big claim to fame is 100 hours of battery life, which is obviously in the case. The actual buds themselves hold about 7 hours of battery, which is, again, still pretty good. They're an in-ear design. They're pretty good fit. I found I had to adjust them quite often on the run. Again, if you're really comfortable with in-ear buds and you've never had a problem with fit, they probably work quite well for you. Don't sound amazing, don't feel like amazing headphones, but they're pretty good. They're almost exactly £100, but you do get that 100 hours of battery life. So, you know, you're paying £1 for an hour of battery life. That's pretty good. There's also the Aftershocks Air, which Tom's obviously discussed. They're just under £100. And the Plantronics Backbeat Fit is another really good set of headphones. Now, these are ones I used when I first kind of started running. I used them in races. They have kind of an ear hook design and quite a large headphone. They sit very comfortably in the ear. You can wear them for a long period. The battery life is 8 hours. And there's also a truly wireless version of them, which is, I think it's sometimes around for £100, but not that often. The Backbeat Fit kind of wireless version that isn't truly wireless is usually around £70, £80. And it's a bit old now, but it's still they're a really good set of headphones. I use them for a long time, and I think they're worth shouting out. None of those, however, are our top pick in the kind of budget under £100 range. Our top pick is the Lipotech Tevi, which Kieran is going to tell you all about right now.
So the best headphones that we've tested for running under £100 are these, the Lipotech Tevi, as Nick mentioned. And these guys are, you know, you make some compromises when you're paying half the price or a lot lower than you might do for other true wireless buds. But what we've got here are a really solid pair of headphones that are really, really good enough to cater for most runners' needs, actually. So you get a 10-hour battery life in the buds. That's actually better than a lot of the other buds that we've tested. You also get a further 60 hours in the case. So battery life, these guys are great. They go really, really long. On the durability front, they are IPX7 rated. That is up there with the Jaybird Vista and the Jabra Elite 75T. The case doesn't feel quite as durable. It feels like the hinge is a little bit more loose. It's also really, I think, it's basically sort of tailored more to everyday use than running. It's kind of got a fabric kind of coating which looks a little bit more kind of normal use. It's also quite bulky if you compare it to a Vista or a Jabra Active 75T. That said, you know, it's not crazy huge like something you might get like the Powerbeats Pro. It's a massive case that you're not going to want to carry. It does have a little tie on it, so you can hook that into a belt or a bag, though it's kind of a loose tie at the end there. When you get onto the buds, these guys are actually really small. And in terms of fit, actually, you've just got the gels that go into the ears. And as you can see, there are no wingtips. So actually, these guys, they don't fit quite as snug as some of the others. And that's one of the things that could be a little bit of a problem. They will stay put fairly well, but they will shake loose on more vigorous runs, vigorous activity. And I would imagine if you were busting down a very steep hill, they would come out fairly readily. You have to push them in quite far as well, and that is a downside. It's a trade-off for what you're going to get for the battery life. When it comes to sound quality, that's really interesting. I've tested some others that are under £100 and the sound quality gets pretty tinny and pretty, you know, it's questionable. You are noticing a compromise. With these actually, I didn't think it was too bad. I thought it was pretty much up there. So the last thing to say about the Lipotech Tevi really is that all-important price. In the UK, these come in at £99. They're $120 and I've seen them in the UK for as little as $62.99 online. And that's really the deal breaker there. I mean, for under £100, you're getting quite a lot of headphone here. The only real drawback is that fit. They don't stay lock tight. And if they fixed the wingtips on these and had them sit in, then I think always up, these would be a really, really good value for money option. So they're worth checking out. Have a look at them. Consider them if you're looking for something under £100.
Best for situational awareness, we've got the Aftershocks Trex Air. Trex Air are slightly different than the other headphones that we've got on the list because they are bone conduction headphones. What that means is the sound actually vibrates through these little pads on your temples as opposed to actually going through into the ear canal via an earbud or a headphone. The upshot of that being that you can hear sounds that are around you when you're running, so cars, people talking, people shouting, because you haven't actually got anything stopping that sound coming into your ears. In terms of design and fit, the Aftershocks Trex Air, they're kind of like this little wire coil that just sits on top of the ears, with the wire sitting behind it and the two pads on the temples. It's 30 grams. It's quite light, and it's actually really comfortable to wear. There's nothing kind of bobbing about when you're running. They're a really comfortable, lightweight thing to sit on the head. And often you forget that you're wearing it. I've done races before where afterwards I've had them on for the next hour or so around the shops just because I've forgotten that they're actually sat there. Battery life for the Trex Air, the manufacturers say that it's 6 hours. That's probably a bit optimistic. I'd probably say it sits more around the 4 to 5 hour mark. But still, it's pretty good, and it'll take a lot of people through marathons. I have heard people say that they've seen significantly lower battery lives on them. I've not experienced that, but I have heard people say that they can be around 2 hours for a race. My experience has been very good, so I say around 4 hours, 4.5 hours. Sound quality it's never going to compare with actual in-ear headphones like the Jaybird or Beats, because essentially it doesn't work in the same way. But it's surprising how good the sound on these is. Once you start wearing them, they're a lot louder than you'd expect from something that is actually just vibrating your temple. And the sound quality is also really good. I listen to audiobooks on these whilst running, and the sound is crystal clear. It's not got the bass, it's not got some of the sound quality that you'd expect from the other headphones that we mentioned in this list, but it's really good when you get that trade-off with actually hearing everything around you. Ease of use, they're actually really easy to use, really easy to set up. The buttons all sit on the right-hand side with this kind of additional bit of plastic wing that you get here. So there you've got your micro USB charger, you've got a button for powering on, and then that same button does volume up, skip up, and then there's another button for down. Those two buttons, they're perfectly sized for controlling that when you're running. And the fact that they do sit on this wing makes it a lot easier to control as you're moving around, as opposed to some of the true wireless ones where you kind of move around the earbud when you're running. So really easy to use, really easy to control. And yeah, it's I never experienced any problems with it. Connectivity, I've always found it to be quite reliable. Every time I've used them for running, it's paired straight away with my phone. I've never had any dropouts with the Trex Air. I did actually have some dropouts with the previous version of the Aftershokz headphones. With these, I've not actually seen any issues. So yeah, really good in terms of connectivity. The fact that you can hear everything that's going on around you is actually something that I never really thought about as something I'd actually used before. I've always ran before these with in-ear headphones so that I isolated all the noise. This is actually, I never expected these to sound as good as they did. And the fact that you can hear stuff around you is a massive bonus once you get used to it, especially considering that a lot of races in the UK don't actually allow normal headphones, but they will allow these. So it is a massive feature if you want to run with headphones, especially if you're doing a marathon or a half marathon, where that's a long time to be running without any music. And if you do need music, these are probably the only option you can take for a lot of those races. In terms of durability, it's actually really good for something that's essentially two headphone blocks and a wire. They're fairly sturdy. You definitely wouldn't want to step on them or leave them in the bottom of your bag to kind of get squashed under other things. But they always retain the shape, and yeah, they work really well as durable headphones. They're IP55 water resistant, which isn't the highest level of water resistance. So it will protect you against sweat and rain and stuff like that, but you wouldn't want to drop these actually in water. Because the micro USB connector here, it will let water in if the rubber's not completely sealed. So worth noting that unlike a lot of the headphones on the list, these aren't fully waterproof. For portability, they're pretty good. They're actually, in comparison to some of the other headphones like the Jaybird Vistas, they're actually a lot harder to carry around if you're not wearing them. The problem with these is, of course, you don't want to leave these loose in your bag because they're going to get squashed by things. You do actually have a carry case, which you can pop them in. Again, it's a kind of silicone carry case, so it's not protective. It's not got a hard covering, so if you sit on it or something, it's gonna get squashed, and they're not going to fare very well. If you are carrying them around, you are actually on your person. If you're not wearing them like that, you can wear them around your neck, which some people I've heard say is a bit restrictive, but I wear them like this, it feels fine. But the only problem is that if they fall off, you don't tend to notice that they're falling off. The Trex Air will cost you £100 or $120. There's also a newer version called the Aeropex, which is a lighter version of the AfterShokz Trex Air, which also comes with a higher rating for water protection, so you can actually drop them in water and stuff like that. You can't do that with these because they've got a micro USB port. But for us, in terms of sound quality, cost, and just value for money, these probably trump the AfterShokz Aeropex.
So there you have it. That's our roundup of the best headphones for runners. We hope there's something in there that you like. If you have any questions, comments, ask us about other headphones in the comments below. Hit us up. We're here to answer as much as we can. We want to hear from you guys. Hit like, subscribe, ring the bell, and we will be bringing you individual reviews of headphones and other kit over the coming weeks. Thanks very much for listening, and yeah, we hope to see you soon.